Hi, brothers and sisters. This is part 3 of Who Started Your Church? How to Find the Church Christ Founded. Jesus came, and all he left us was a church. Matthew 16:18. And I say unto thee, thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. There are 3 things to note here. The first thing is that Christ is going to establish a church. The second thing to notice that the words in Matthew 16:18, my church, is in the singular. That means Christ will establish one church, not churches and not denominations. The third thing to notice is that Jesus is using the second person singular when referring to Caiaphas. Since we established that Jesus did find one church in Matthew 16, we need to put our fingers on the next verse in Matthew 16:19. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. From there we must put our finger on the person who Christ has given the keys of the kingdom of heaven to. The keys of the kingdom of heaven represents the ecclesial authority of the one church Jesus Christ will establish. We know that Christ has yoked himself to Peter, as we described in a separate video. So continue moving your finger to John 21:15-17. It is Jesus who, right before the resurrection, entrusts Peter to tend, to shepherd, and to feed his sheep and lambs. He does this right in front of the other 10 apostles. Pause the video and read John 21:15-17 if you'd like. Of all Jesus' disciples, he chose 12 to be apostles. Of those 12 apostles, he chose one. This is the way to finding the church Christ established. In a comment by Dr. Cross, he put it very succinctly, and I will paraphrase. The key to finding his one church is to put your finger on the thing that Jesus founded and move forward through history, century by century, until you reach the present day. Don't go quickly. Read the writings of the church fathers in the 1st century, then the 2nd century, and then the 3rd century, and then the 4th century, and then the 5th century. Now, whenever there is a schism, you have to determine which is the split off and which is the continuation of the church that Christ founded. How did the fathers determine which is the continuation of the church Christ founded and which is the schism from that church? Notice also the Ecumenical Councils. By following Christ and his handing of the keys of the kingdom of heaven to Peter, and then after the resurrection, Peter being given the singular mission right in front of the other apostles to shepherd his sheep and lambs, and then taking your finger and following the keys of that authority given to the apostles through the 1st century to our present day, there is only one church Christ founded, and it is right there under your finger: the Catholic Church. Matthew put his pen to parchment 20 years after Christ established the church. Matthew 16:18-19 confirms that the church we call Catholic is the one church he established on the foundation of the faith of his apostles and prophets. God bless you.